Recording in progress.
Okay, greetings, leaders, and welcome to GLN, the home of leaders. This is where we connect as leaders. This is where we learn together as leaders and eventually belong to a network of global leaders. GLN is now in 12 countries, and the network continues to grow. At least nurturing leaders that are generational thinkers, leaders that are purpose-centered, leaders that are vision-driven in our homes, in our organizations, and in our countries. As we start this journey together in GLN, we always believe that we should think global, we should lead local, and transform the world. And we are here just to have this deep conversation, walk together in this journey, share our experiences, and more importantly, look at practical approaches that can help us to better our leadership at a personal level, better our leadership at the organizational level, and also better the leadership at any other spaces that we are leading. It is a very open conversation, and we believe in facilitation because we learn from diverse ways, diverse approaches, and therefore it is not a teacher-student kind of engagement. It is a round-table conversation where we invite your experience, we invite you to also share insights, even as we trigger through the content that we have prepared. So let me say a big thank you to all of you for according us this opportunity, and we are ready to walk together in this journey. So I'll just invite us to share a message on the chat, just confirming that you can get me clearly, and then we'll get to work. So let me just quickly check through just a message, just confirming that yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. That will get us started. And maybe those who can unmute and just say, yes, I am here, I can hear you. That is also okay. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Okay, thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Nelly. Great. I think that is a representation that we are able to engage. Thank you so much. It's always good to start together by appreciating God that we have an opportunity to come together. And therefore, I'll just request us to make a prayer, just to thank God that we have this time together. Okay, so let's pray. Heavenly Father, we are grateful. We're grateful that you have accorded us this opportunity. We are grateful that we have a moment together as leaders to have round-table conversations, to reflect deeply on our leadership, and also to reflect deeply on the people that you have entrusted to us to lead. We pray that this journey will be a transformative journey. This will be a journey that will usher us to new levels of leadership and trigger new strategies to enhance our leadership. We pray that as we start together, us, oh God, from the very beginning to the end. Pray for each and every one of us that a strong bond will be established, and also long-term relationships will be established in this journey that will give us opportunities to network and also to be able to collaborate on the areas that we can work together as leaders. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Good. So we are set for you leaders, and we are so happy that we have this opportunity. to walk this journey together. So later on, we'll have an opportunity to introduce ourselves so that at least we can be able to know who is in the room, since we shall be walking this journey together with all of us. So it's just good to be able to know who is here, who is in this room, and that will give us an opportunity just to be able to also bond together. So maybe let me confirm if you can see my slides. Becoming a Global Leader, that's the title. Just to confirm. Okay, great. So I'll start with a recap. Then along the way, we'll pause a little bit just to be able to appreciate who is in the room. So we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself along the way. Allow me to have my video off for now. I'll keep on interchanging as we continue. So we are here to talk about becoming a global leader. I know we are at various stages in our leadership journey, and therefore this will be a kind of a conversation just to identify opportunities for improvement. And the slogan for GLN is that we always have to think global, lead local, and transform the world. And what that means to us as leaders is that whatever service, whatever product I'm preparing, I need to have the global view in picture. Am I preparing a bottle of water that can be sold in the global space? So that speaks about quality. That speaks about the kind of focus I'll put into preparing that particular product. So is it a product that can be sold and accepted globally? So that's the essence of thinking global. Leading local is about taking initiative to be able to start providing solution to the immediate people within my space, because it is from that space that I'll be able to reach to the global space. And then why are we leading? We are leading for transformation. The measure of leadership, the true measure of leadership is transformation. If I have worked with someone for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line, and I don't see a certain kind of change, then I need to reflect on my leadership. So as we work together, leaders, our deep reflection is about how we are going to continue making an impact and measure our leadership through transformation. In GLN, we also believe that a better leader is a better life. So the first beneficiary of this journey or this training, it is you and me, because that is where the journey of transformation starts. And when my leadership skills become better, that also means my life will also become better. Maybe there are certain capability I'll identify, and I'll be able to tap into those capabilities more. There are certain skills, there are certain probably qualities that I'll discover along this journey, especially when we'll be embarking on a deeper conversation about self-awareness. We also believe a better leader is a better family, is a better community, is a better nation, and is also a better world. That's the philosophy of GLN. So I'll take us through a brief recap. We had our information session last week, and maybe some of us, we were there, some of us may not have plugged in. So I'll just do a very quick overview of what we covered. Then from there, we'll have some time to introduce ourselves, and then straight away, we'll move on to our module 1. Today, we're going to cover module 1 and module 2. So this is what we discussed last week, and we started with this leadership challenge of this speaker who asked 3 questions to an audience. And one of the questions the speaker asked, who wants change? Who wants change? Is there something that we feel needs to be fixed somewhere? Is there something that we feel should be changed somewhere? It could be within the organization, it could be within the country, it could be at a personal level, it could be at the family setup. And you can see all the hands went up. because we all feel that there's something needs to be changed somewhere. Yeah. And the speaker proceeded to the second question. Who wants to change? Because sometimes for us to drive change, it might require I undergo change myself. And you see what happened? Hands went down, and I believe probably there was a deep reflection from the audience. Do I really want to change for me to be able to change or to drive that change that I'm thinking about? But that was not the worst case scenario. The third question the speaker asked, who wants to lead change? Who wants to be a change maker? Who wants to drive change? And what happened? The speaker was left alone. And when we reflected this as GLN, we thought this could be a real scenario out there. There could be a possibility out there that how many people can be able to rise up and say, here I am, count on me. I can be able, I'm part of this team that wants to drive change. And today we can recall a number of leaders, both locally and globally, that stepped forward and they paid the price. Remember, I believe we can remember people like Professor Wangari Maathai. We can remember people globally like President Nelson Mandela. We can remember people like Mother Teresa and many other examples that we may not be able to exhaust that stepped forward. This is why GLN started. We started so that we can be able to step into this gap and be able to have conversations together as leaders and see, can we be able to walk and be able to rise up at whatever level and be able to drive a change. That is the essence of our discussion. That is the essence of GLN, and our training is aligned towards that. So as we walk together in this journey, that is the kind of thinking that we'll all have so that we can be able to drive this, we can partner in driving change. So what are your expectations? We went through your expectations. This is very important to us because we want to be sure that we are connecting with you. And how do we connect? We connect through your expectations. Why are you here as a leader? And these are just a few that we sampled. Sharpen my leadership skills, become a skilled, purpose-driven leader, learn and learn, relearn, and acquire more knowledge in leading objectively and effectively. Learn to lead by example. Yeah, learn how to be a strategic leader. We have a dedicated program on strategic leadership. We'll tackle a bit of this, but we have a separate program that focuses on strategic leadership. Then to be a leader, competing in global levels, very important, to gain knowledge and insight in what it takes to be a global leader. Learn more on the following writing proposals. We'll have a practical session on that, documentation of the different stages of a project, and then project ideation and to network. Yeah, learn to be a team leader and innovative approaches towards high-level evangelism. Then to acquire leadership skills, public speaking skills. We are working on a dedicated program on public speaking and branding that will be launched in November. But we'll tackle a bit of this through one of the modules focusing on effective communication. Okay. And then interact and network with like-minded leaders. We'll have breakout rooms where we can be able to come together, network, and also physical activities, just the way you saw in that clip that was playing at the beginning, because this is a network. And as a network, relationships are important. Networking is important just to be able to establish long-term bonds. Then exchange of knowledge and experiences to be empowered to train leaders, develop learning culture. Again, this is what we'll be doing practically, because every week we shall be reviewing the book Purpose Driven Leader, a few chapters as we'll be guiding you, just to be able to continue enhancing our learning culture. Then acquire leadership skills in order to enhance my performance at my workplace. So these are just a few of your expectations, and we commit that this will be met. At the end, we may want just to come back and look at them and be able to check, did we satisfy the expectations as indicated at the very beginning. From our end as GLN, we also have our expectations as GLN. Yeah, we believe that by the time you are finishing, we are finishing this, completing this program, at least we need to have attained or achieved certain expectations from GLN perspective. One is to align to a personal or corporate vision, mission, values, and strategies. We'll talk intensely about vision at a personal level, at a corporate level, and any other space that you are leading. We have a dedicated module focusing on the power of vision in leadership. So we'll recast this discussion again and again and again because this is the DNA of a leader. If you sit with a leader and you don't get this word vision coming out, then there is a problem somewhere. So we believe we are focusing to ensuring that we all appreciate this and align to a vision, mission, values, and strategies. Then appreciate the pivotal role of leadership in driving transformation. In a way, we feel that this discussion about leadership has not been amplified in the right context as it should be. And therefore, from this discussion, we want just to create some more appetite to be able to have a more conversations focusing on leadership in this masterclass and beyond. So by the time we are done, we want to appreciate the critical role of leadership, amplify our knowledge on this area, and also our appetite just to be able to have more conversations at whatever spaces that we are leading in out there. Then understand and apply the 5 Ys, and we'll talk the 5 Cs, sorry, and we'll talk about this today. So by the time we are done today, you will have appreciated the 5 Cs of a global leader, and then the 6 Is. We are also going to cover that today, and the 6 core principles. This one will be covered along the 16 weeks that we're going to work, the 12 weeks that we're going to work together. Then enhance leadership skills, knowledge, and servant attitude, centered and transformational leadership. We also expect as GLN that we'll cultivate solution-driven leadership. That's why we have a project proposal that will guide you on how to go about it as a team to cultivate solution-driven leadership. That when there is a problem, the right thing for a leader to do is to sit down and think of a solution. And this solution has to be structured, has to be well thought out, it has to be researched so that we address the real issue. Yeah, we identify a problem and be able to come up with the right solution that is well thought out and also evidence-based. Then inspire a culture of learning, and research, appreciate networking and collaboration in driving growth and impact. And then finally, promote self-care and overall well-being for leaders. We have seen a number of studies focusing on the issues of burnout, the issues of mental health, and we want to amplify the importance of self-care and overall well-being for leaders, and the leaders are able to trickle that down to the teams that we are leading. Because if we don't emphasize on self-care and well-being, then we'll have ripple effect on other emerging issues that now will affect our performance negatively and also affect the teams that we are leading negatively. So GLN, we do this practically. Every year we are able to go out and have a moment of just recharging, rejuvenating, and also networking. But this should be a culture. It shouldn't be an event. It should be a culture. It should be something that is embedded into our systems so that we appreciate why self-care is very important for leaders and the overall well-being for leaders. So this is what we expect, that by the time we are done, we'll appreciate all this that we have highlighted. Now, I want just to get now more specific to the program that we are starting today, Global Leadership Network Masterclass. And what are the objectives of the masterclass? One is to bridge the leadership gap, identified in various surveys and studies. And today we'll look at that in the module 2. And then to equip and transform leaders globally to maximize their potential and impact, and to establish a network of global leaders, for peer learning and also for resource sharing. We have established, and this network continues to grow, a working network. We were out there in Burundi in May to graduate some of the leaders through one of us. Again, we have some of us from Tanzania joining us because of a member of a network that is out there. So we can say this is a functional network, and this network continues to grow, and the members are able to tap into this very important resource, and also the various capabilities, professions that are represented in this network. The vision of GLN is aligned to our vision. What do we see? What do we see as GLN? We see leaders that are generational thinkers. We see leaders that are generational thinkers emerging from these discussions, leaders that are purpose-centered, leaders that are vision-driven in every home, in every organization, and also in every country. Our goal, again, just to connect with what I've shared up there, is that one, we reflect on the critical role of leadership, bridge the leadership gap, enhance self-care and self-awareness, then develop dynamic leadership culture, because we are in a dynamic world. We are in a VUCA world, a volatile world, a world of uncertainty, a world of complexity, a world of ambiguity. And only a dynamic leader can function well in this kind of a space where things are changing so fast, and yet we have to respond as leaders and be able to align ourselves to what is required. So that's why we need to talk about dynamic leadership culture. Then cultivate resilience in leaders, again, very important for every leader to really have a continuous reflection on issues of resilience, and then promote networking and collaboration. What we are going to learn here, leaders, can be applied in what we call the 360 space. You can apply at a personal level, that is self-leadership. You can apply at the inner circle, the close people that you are leading. You can also apply to the team or even to the organization. Is also applicable to community, to the churches, to the community leadership, to any other space that you are leading out there. So it's 360. So as we walk through, you will be filtering. You will pick, this is for me, this is for my inner circle, this is for my team, this is for my community leadership, and be able to align all that we are learning to these 4 domains. There are keywords that will be repeated, and already I've repeated some of them already. One is generational. We'll keep repeating generational, because that is a very loud message to every leader. If a leader thinks generational, it means we are able to nurture businesses that will be intergenerational. We are able to work on projects that will be generational projects. That really means a lot to a leader. Then global focus, purpose-centered, vision-driven, strategic thinking, transformation. We'll keep recasting on this: networking, collaboration, creativity, innovation. By the time we are done, these words will have been mentioned quite a number of times, so that we can appreciate them as leaders. Then teamwork, strategic thinking, learn and relearn. Again, this will be mentioned a number of times in this masterclass. Appreciating that, yes, I learned a certain strategy, certain skills maybe 5 years ago. things have changed. I have to unlearn some of them. Then I have to relearn some of them in this masterclass. Again, the focus will be, especially for level 1, we'll focus on self-awareness. This is critical for proper alignment of every leader in terms of the strengths that we need to tap, and maybe in terms of the weaknesses that we need to manage, or the areas that we need to improve. Yeah, areas of improvement. Yeah, and also identifying the blind spots. Yeah, as we also adapt our leadership style to different situations. So we'll have quite a deep conversation around self-awareness. Then self-reflection. Yeah, what we call reflective leadership. There is need sometimes to take a step back, think about how I am leading as a leader, examine my thought process, examine my actions, and be able to probably come up with some of the areas that I can enhance. Yeah, being aware of our strengths, again, will help us to be able to align ourselves. So every week, we'll have time to reflect. We'll be sharing with you a link just to guide in reflection, because it is through reflection that true change emerges. Yeah, so self-leadership, again, will be very important, a part of our discussion together. We have a discussion focusing on self-leadership that will be tackled as a module. So we are here to raise our leadership bar. Raise our leadership bar. If you are joining this masterclass at level 1, we hope at least we can raise you, or we can raise all our leadership bar, maybe to 2, 3, 4, or even to 10. And how do we do this? It is through the knowledge that we're going to share here, both ways, from us, from you, the skills, the abilities, the networking experience that we're going to have here, and that will stretch us in a way. This knowledge will stretch us and will help us to be able to raise our leadership bar and optimize our leadership potential as well as our impact. And allow me to connect this with the concept of sharpening the axe. If you are cutting a tree and the axe is not sharpened, that has an implication to the efficiency and the effectiveness of the task. And this masterclass is like, we have an axe, but we need to be more efficient. We need to sharpen that axe. So we'll be sharpening ourselves. We'll be sharpening ourselves together. As it's always said, iron sharpens iron. So we'll be here so that we can be able to sharpen ourselves. So there are a few thoughts there on the screen. Yeah, when the country is in chaos, everybody has a plan to fix it, but it takes a leader of real understanding to straighten things out. Yeah, and that in this journey will be deepening our understanding on the concept of leadership. Again, if the axe is dull and one does not sharpen its edge, then one must exert more strength, but wisdom helps him succeed with less effort. So when we sharpen the axe, that means with less effort, we are able to achieve more. There is a principle known as the 20-80. Sometimes majorly it focuses on the Pareto principle, but the application varies. When the axe is sharp, with the 20% effort, we should be able to get 80% 80% impact. So as we sharpen ourselves in this journey, we expect even leadership will become easier, will become a little bit effortless, where we were using too much pressure, probably because of the knowledge, because of the unlearning. We can be able to achieve higher results with a certain level of effort. Abraham Lincoln said that if I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. And the question here that we always ask ourselves, leaders, how much time do I take to sharpen my axe as a leader? How much time do I take to reflect and replenish my skills, replenish my knowledge, replenish my network? Because that has an implication on my efficiency and my effectiveness as a leader. So this is a very important, I can say, a take home for all of us, just to be able to have a reflection around that particular area. Finally, before I pause for introductions and then we proceed, I'll just mention the structure. We are going to tackle 4 stages, this program in 4 stages. Stage 1 is coursework, and this is where we'll go through the manual, Becoming a Global Leader Together. I'm sure some of you already have the manuals, and those who do not have, will make room, that will make arrangements. So I'll just request you to have your manual close because you're going to look at it shortly. Then stage 2, weekly book review. Again, the book Purpose Driven Leader will be our focus. And I believe some of you already have that. We'll give you the structure on how to go about it. And then project proposal. This one will come up with the teams, and then we'll be able to come up with an idea and structure it, but we'll guide you on that. And then finally, we'll have course evaluation, which is an online evaluation. So those are the stages that we're going to cover in this masterclass. The 16 modules are divided into 3 levels. Level 1, Essentials of Leadership. Part of this is self-awareness. Then level 2, intermediate leadership development, redefining leadership. We'll take a deep dive into the concepts of leadership and redefine leadership in various perspectives. And then we'll come up with common elements that are important when it comes to leadership. Then level 3, core leadership competences, the power of vision, the power of character, the power of personal development, the power of mentorship and succession, the power of effective communication, the power of personal development. Those are the areas that we're going to discuss at level 3. Level 4 is basically inviting you to equip other leaders or invite other leaders in this journey. So as we share, we'll be encouraging you to look for opportunities to also share what we are learning in this masterclass, so that we invite others into the change journey that you are also going through. So we'll meet for 12 weeks, and we'll be meeting for 2 hours on every Thursday. Our sessions will be virtual. We'll only come together during the graduation on the 21st and 22nd of November. That's the only time that we'll have a physical presence. And then the purpose, and this one, allow me to invite you to look at our manuals. So I'll just want us to get our manuals. If you already have it with you, that's quite okay. If you need a minute to get it, you can get your manual ready, so that we can look at the purpose statement. If you do not have your manual yet, it's okay. We'll look at the screen, what we have projected on the screen. Okay. So as we do this, maybe I'll also be confirming how many of us have received the manual. Maybe you can just indicate on the chat. If you already have your manual, you can just say yes. If you haven't, you can just indicate no. Yeah, sometimes we dispatch. Some of them take time before they arrive. So let me just see how many of us have received the manual. Yeah, the 2 books, the training manual, as well as the book that we shall be reviewing together. Okay, you can see. So we'll take note of this. Okay, Rose, not yet. Nelly, Daniel, you say you have received. Thank you. Let me confirm with the rest as well. Okay, so I'll request the rest to also indicate. So those who already have the manual, thank you, Geoffrey. I can see you already have your manual. Okay, Bernard, thank you. I can see you already have your manual. Okay. Esther, thank you, Esther. Good. I think a number of us have received, a number of us are yet to receive, and we'll work on those logistics. So if you already have the manual, you can open on page 3. On page 3, for those who do not have the manual, we'll just focus on the screen. It's the same content. And this is our purpose statement. This is our purpose statement as GLN. Yeah. I request the leader using OPPO to kindly indicate your name. The leader was commented, I have manual. Please indicate your name so that we can refer to you by name. Okay. So this is our purpose statement. Empower leaders for personal transformation, and as trustees, will empower other leaders. That's a very heavy statement and very important for GLN. That the first point of focus is personal transformation, because as a leader, there is that likelihood that I could be looking for so much outward in terms of how I'm going to lead people, what we need to change, but we also need to bring a shift, a little bit of a shift, and start this journey from a deeper focus. Yeah, and then from that deeper focus, it will be able to lead or provide us with better ways to be able to lead outside. So empower leaders for personal transformation, and as trustees, will empower other leaders. And our purpose statement states as follows: perhaps no arm is vital to champion transformational reforms than leadership. This is where we always say that everything rises and falls on leadership. A statement by John C. Maxwell. Yeah, so while a nation's or an organization's resource may determine its potential, or even an individual, yeah, it is the leadership that ultimately unlocks that potential and determines the success of a nation, an organization, and its people. Yes, we can be resourced at a personal level. I could be having certain capabilities, certain skills, certain giftings, but I need to unlock that. And how do I unlock that? One of the strategies to unlock that is to better my leadership skills, better my self-leadership skills. So as we unlock the potential at a personal level, then that will lead to unlocking the potential in other spaces. Many times you have heard that Africa is endowed with resources. But what do we need? We need to unlock those resources. And that is the role of leadership. So the purpose of this leadership program is to empower individual leaders to activate and optimize their leadership potential and of those they lead. The goal is to empower leaders as trustees who will empower other leaders. And this is aligned to a biblical principle. The things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses and trust to reliable people will also be qualified to teach others. So we'll be inviting you to also be able to share with others what we are going through in this discussion. It could be your team. Maybe there's one concept that we'll pick from this discussion, and next time you're meeting with your team, you can share that concept with your team. Yeah, so together we can accomplish too much as long as we do not care who gets the credit, because we are working for a bigger goal. Yeah, so our goal is to equip leaders as agents to transform our spaces. Yeah. To help us maximize our time together, leaders, we have 5 commitments. There are 5 commitments, and these commitments are on page 7. Yeah, on page 7, 5 commitments. And this one, I'll request one of us just to scan through the five commitments. This is how we're going to maximize our time together and ensure that we maximally benefit from this masterclass. So let me request Nelly. Nelly, if you're in a position, you can just take us through the 5, just reading through the 5 of them, if you're in a position.
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay, welcome, Nelly.
Thank you, Mr. President. So you want me to read through the commitments, the 5 of them?
Yes, Nelly.
Okay, so my commitment, 1, I will attend the sessions consistently, on time, and prepared. 2, I will share my personal experience and maintain confidentiality of discussions. 3, I will respect and honor other people's opinion. If need be, I will objectively critique with a view to learn or enrich discussions. 4, I will be open to change, to learn, to unlearn and relearn. 5, I commit to share the knowledge entrusted to me to other reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others.
Thank you, Nelly. So leaders,
Welcome.
So these are our 5 commitments. The idea is to how do we make sure that we have maximum value from this masterclass. One is to be consistent in terms of attendance and also in terms of preparedness. So there are certain assignments that we need to prepare in advance. Maybe it's a book review. So we need to be prepared so that we can be able to engage in the discussions with well-equipped when we are well equipped. Again, certain times will require we share our experiences. That will be for these discussions only. This is home of leaders, and therefore, even as we look at other people's opinion from different perspectives, we are doing that respectively, and the objective is to learn. Yeah, so we do not criticize, but we can critique. We can look at different viewpoints and appreciate the different viewpoints. Then openness to change, to learn, and also relearn. And then number 5, I've already emphasized on number 5 that we commit to share the knowledge that is entrusted to us with other leaders, with our team members. And the essence here is you are going through a transformational journey. It is easier when other people join you in that transformational journey. That also lowers the level of resistance because you could be driving some new initiatives, and you also need the team to appreciate why you need probably to initiate some new strategies from these discussions. Okay, so we have cohort 51. You are in cohort 51, and cohort 51 will be meeting on Thursday. So we intended to have 2 cohorts running. So you are in cohort 51, yeah, and we'll be meeting on Thursdays. Yeah, we'll be meeting on Thursdays. We have other cohorts that are going on, but different programs, like crisis leadership runs on Monday, strategic entrepreneurship and leadership on Wednesday, and then we have a book writing masterclass on Sunday. To mark the beginning of our journey, on page 7, there is a space there where you will indicate your name, then the date. The date is today, and then the signature. Yeah, so we can do that together. So for those who do not have the manual, the moment you get your manual, page 7, you will still be able to do the same. Okay. Okay, Daniel, I can see your hand.
I have a question.
Yes, Daniel.
On the commitments, the 5th commitment is about, I commit to share the knowledge entrusted to me to other reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. So I wanted to ask, can we use whatever we are learning and the materials that we have received to share or with others or in other forums apart from this one?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Daniel, for that. The thinking around this is that you may not share the entire, maybe the entire module, but you can pick a portion of what is standing out for you. It can be a concept. It can be probably something that you have resonated with so strongly, and you feel I need to share this with my team. So just the key highlights, the key take home. That's what we are encouraging you to share. But now for the leaders to maximally benefit from the program, at the end, we'll also be inviting you to identify someone that you can recommend this program to. And that is now when they can come in and be able to benefit from the whole package. Okay, I don't know if that is clear, Daniel.
Yes, that is well noted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, so in every module, there will be a challenge. Some of the challenges that you're going to have, the leadership challenge, will be sent to you through a link. Some will be questions that you reflect and answer. Others will be statements, just to appreciate the statement, like summarize that lesson in a statement. So for the introduction, this is the leadership challenge. Yeah, I commit to be a transformational, purpose-driven leader who not only knows the way and goes the way, but also inspires others to embark on their journey of purpose towards the fulfillment of their vision. Yeah, know the way, go the way, but more importantly, show the way. In terms of cost, most of you have already aligned to this. Yeah, we are saying nothing of value comes without a cost. And I like always to emphasize the first most important cost of this program is time. And why is this? It's because we are dealing with leaders that have their hands already, in many cases, full, and yet they have to get space for one more item. So one of the most important cost is time. Then financially, we have shared that. Then in terms of sharing, or there's some bit of authenticity, and also relationally, it will cost us to be able to open up and be able to share and be vulnerable to one another so that we can be able to learn from our experiences. Every week we'll have personal reflection and personal evaluation. So we'll send you a link, and that link will indicate your name, and you will evaluate yourself. Why we are doing this is for personal evaluation. So you also want probably to see, how is my attendance in this class? Maybe at the end of the program, you may want just to appreciate how you've performed in terms of my consistency in participating in classes. So this is for you. This is for you. So once we send, you will indicate probably class attendance. I was there. Just put a tick there. If you are not there, maybe for one reason or another, just indicate no. And not applicable means maybe you are joining us. Let's say you will join us next week and you are not aware that the classes were running this week. That's when not applicable will apply. Timely attendance, very important. So this again, we are saying is for my own personal reflection, my personal evaluation. So had I plugged in by the time we were starting? So our time is normally 8 p.m. So was I able to attend the class by the time it was starting? Yeah, so you just indicate yes or no, yeah, or not applicable. So if you plugged in by 8, you're already here, then that will be okay. You just tick yes. If you plugged in maybe at 8:01, 8:02, 8:05, you just say no, and then you'll be able to get a personal evaluation at the end. Timely book review. and submission by, for our case, it will be Wednesday at 10 p.m. So the book review, the chapters that we're going to share with you, you will be submitting through an email that will be provided by Wednesday latest at 10 p.m. And here the focus is on the quality, not so much on the quantity. We'll just be picking on the key highlights of the chapter that we are reviewing. And then we share that so that when we come together in the session and we get into the breakout sessions, that is part of the areas that we shall be focusing on in the during the breakout session. So again, if you are able to do this, you will also be able to indicate that. Then timely manual review. We'll be inviting you to review the chapters that we have covered. Again, this is just for learning. Yeah, no submission. It's basically just to ensure that maybe there's something I missed out. I was able to pick up what I missed out in the manual. So there will be no submission. It's only for personal learning enhancement. These are the chapters that we're going to review from the book, The Purpose-Driven Leaders. So between now and next week, Wednesday, we shall be reviewing chapter 1 and chapter 3. We shall skip chapter 3. But we'll share this on the wall. So no need to, I'll not emphasize, because on the wall, this one will be very clear. We shall indicate which chapters you are handling and by when you need to share that. Okay, I will share a schedule of training, yes, also that you can plan your calendar well up to the last session that you're going to have. What is our obligation? What is your obligation? We all want to focus on results. Yes, at least we deliver results in whatever activity or whatever engagements that you are having. And we normally connect this with what Robert Anthony said, that you can only have two things in life: reasons and results. But he continues to say, reasons don't count. So as we work together, let's focus on delivering what is expected. You may not maybe sometimes be able to deliver 100%, but at least endeavor to deliver results so that we can maximize that opportunity. Then trade off. We are already trading off today's time with something else that you used to do, resources. So there'll be a bit of trade off in this journey. Consistency. Again, I'll continue to amplify this. You're saying consistent action will produce consistent results. So again, this is part of our obligation to be consistent in terms of our participation. It is our prayer, it is our wish, leaders, that when we'll be climaxing this program, we can all say we did it. It might stretch you in a way, but we want to focus on those two guys. So whatever we are doing, let's focus to get to where those two guys are. Maybe they were climbing a mountain. Maybe they were going through a program and they were able to achieve the desired goals. So we believe and pray that all of us will be able to get to that space where we'll say, yes, we have done it. This calls for resilience. It calls for consistency. It calls for sometimes re-strategizing and also ensuring that we remain focused as well as purposeful in this journey. Let me say welcome once again. And this time we'll just pause for a few minutes so that we can appreciate who is in the room. Remember, again, this is a network, so this also presents opportunities where we can be able to connect with one another. We have seen partnerships emerging from this. So we just want to pause here for a minute, for some few minutes, and allow us to introduce ourselves. So we'll do this in two ways. Those who can unmute and introduce themselves, that will be okay. In case you are in a position where you may not be able to unmute and introduce yourself, you can still do the same via the chat. So if I invite you, maybe I mention your name, and you are not able to unmute and introduce yourself, just feel free to introduce yourself via the chat. So this is how I'll go. I'll just go through the order the way I'm seeing on my screen. So I'll start with Bernard. I know we have Bernard and we have Bernard Mwangi. So I'll start with Bernard. I'll come to Bernard Mwangi at the end. Then I'll move on to Daniel, and then Esther, and then I'll proceed in that order. So Bernard, welcome. I believe this is Pastor Bernard from Burundi, if I'm right.
Yeah, how are you? Yes, this is Bernard from Burundi. I'm glad to be in this class. I missed the last cohort. Unfortunately, I was having a lot of troubles, which interrupted the learning schedule. So I'm taking this one, and I'm hoping to finish and learn and learn and learn again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pastor Bernard. Good to see you. Good to have you back. I know sometimes if someone is able to bounce back, that really means a lot, that your heart is into this. So thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you. Say hi to Reverend Jane.
I will. Thank you so much. I appreciate the class. It's a very impacting class. The few classes I attended, they made a big difference. Even to the approach of my work and my duties, it made a lot of difference. So that's why I didn't want to finish the whole class. Yeah, thank you so much.
Wow, thank you so much, Pastor Bernard. Move on to Daniel. Daniel, welcome.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Maybe I can turn on this.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So I'm Daniel Gashohi. I'm a business growth consultant based at Thika. And I'm grateful to be here. Looking forward to sharpening my leadership skills and learn and network with the team that is here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel. Much appreciated. Esther, welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, greetings, Esther.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Esther Asiombua. Currently, I'm an accountant located in Tala, Machakos town. And I hope, and it is my wish, that these change, that is me being in this team, I'll be able to emerge or become a global leader in so many areas, not only at work, not only in relating with friends, relating with family, and even the society in general. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Esther. It's good to have you. I know we have walked a journey. Seeing you here today is a great pleasure. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll move on to Geoffrey. Then we'll have Joe. Then we'll have Margaret. And then I'll proceed in that order. Yeah, so Geoffrey Kisito, welcome.
Hello.
Greetings, Geoffrey.
Greetings. I'm in the office. Answering a call of duty. I'm following from my office. My name is Geoffrey Kisito. I must say that our job is dynamic. Sometimes we are supporting the teams that are on the ground, and therefore overall we are exceeding our customers' expectations. Fast customer service. I'm in the airport right now as we speak. One of my key leadership quality is to influence positively. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now that you have given us an appetizer that you are at the airport, maybe you can mention your what you do professionally. I think that so that we can connect the dots.
We do catering. All the meals that are consumed in the aeroplanes. We are one of the company that does the same. But right now we have a competitor, so there are those customers that are served from another area. But us is purely we do food.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Geoffrey, and it's a pleasure. I'll move on to Joe. Okay, Joe, if in a position. Okay, as I hold in for Joe, I can move on to Margaret Waweru.
Good evening, all.
Good evening, Margaret.
Yes, I have put my screen and I cannot see myself. Are you able to see?
Margaret, we can see you clearly.
Okay, I wanted to see myself. Okay, it's okay. I'm Margaret Wawero. I am a retired health educator. Currently, I'm a founder of Radiant Bridges Women Initiative. It deals with the senior citizen ladies doing self-care and learning, relearning, and learning all that we have come to this age. But we also cater for other younger people to pass on a legacy. I'm located at Kitengela, but we work through Kikuyu, Nairobi, Gong, and Kitengela. My important leadership quality is to be able to do what we know and pass it on to others to do the same and maybe better way. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Margaret. Margaret, I'm so happy to see you joining us tonight. I know we had a talk a while ago, and I'm very, very happy to see you joining us. And I believe we'll walk together this journey and also be able to exchange a few thoughts here and there so that we can enhance whatever we are doing. I believe GLN will be of value to what you are doing, and will also be of value to GLN as well. Thank you and much welcome. Joe, I can see you have unmuted. Welcome.
Yes, Mr. Joseph. My name is Joe Wanjao. I'm a business person involved in construction, building construction, and general supplies. And I'm based in Nairobi. One of my key leadership quality is leading by example. And I'm looking forward to being a global leader and networking as we continue. I'm very grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe, even for connecting. I didn't expect you because of your schedule, and I'm happy that you have been able to connect.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'll move on to Nelly. Then we have someone using Oppo. We'll get to you. Then we'll have Phyllis, and then Ruth, and then Tony. The alumni will come at the end. You can see Rebecca and alumni will come at the end. So Nelly, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
My name is Nelly Njoroge. Sorry, my daughter is calling me. Give me a minute, mommy. I'm coming. My name is Nelly Njoroge. Professionally, I'm a psychologist and a certified professional coach, situated in Nairobi. I think a key important leadership quality for me is leading by example. Whatever I display is what I focus on, not what I say. I think more of wanting people to learn from me through what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Nelly. As a certified coach, I'm sure you'll also share a few tips here with the leaders, and maybe some of us can also connect with what you are doing.
Yes, I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, much welcome. Thank you so much, Nelly.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll move on to Janet, then Phyllis. Janet, welcome. Janet, if in a position. Okay, so yes, welcome, Janet.
Okay, yeah, now I can see I've been able to unmute. I am so grateful to be here. My name is Janet. I'm also very excited to hear somebody by the name Neri talking about being a life coach, because I come from the same field also. In one of my other things that I do besides, I am a certified life coach and a mediator. I specifically deal with inner healing, because most of the people have issues due to lack of inner healing of trauma that they have gone through or they went through as children. That is a passion I have. And having said that, I'm also excited to be among leaders. And I know I'll learn a lot. And I've been interested in joining this class. And therefore, I look forward to connecting with all of you so that I can borrow nuggets from each and every one. Thank you so much, Mr. Buru, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Janet. Happy Janet here. Finally, here we are, and looking forward to an exciting journey.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Move on to Phyllis Gichuki. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Pastor.
I'm glad to be here tonight. This is a class I've decided to join for quite a while, but for some reasons I was not able. But I thank God that today I'm available, and I thank God that I'll be able to join and learn the many things that I've decided to learn concerning the role of leadership and even the becoming a leading by example. I'm a pastor with Deliverance Church, situated along the Eastern Bypass, Deliverance Church, Ruai West, where we take care of the flock together with my husband. And I'll be ready to learn how to become an effective and professional leader as we lead the flock, the people of God, even to be able to learn more and to unlearn and to relearn. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. God bless you too, Pastor. And we appreciate that you are able to connect with us. I know you are a member of the network already, and this will provide an opportunity for us to deepen our learnings together. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, I move on to Ruth, then Tony. Ruth, welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Ruth.
My name is Ruth Nkirotega Tobu. I'm at Nairobi. I work at KCB as a salesperson. And I was introduced to this like 2 years ago, but I was not ready or willing to come in. But I feel like this time I am ready to learn and to grow in leadership and also to network. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ruth. Ruth, you are in which branch?
Kayole branch.
Okay. At Shujaa Mall?
Yeah, Shujaa Mall.
Nice. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Thank you too.
Yeah, much welcome. Okay, finally, we have Tony Kabia. Okay, Tony, if you're in a position. Okay, I'll check on Tony as we continue. So I'll move on to the alumni. We have two of them on the call tonight. And what we normally do, even after going through this program, we normally invite the alumni just to come back and continue learning. So some of them will be joining us in the sessions, and tonight we have two of them. So I'll start with Rebecca, if you're able to unmute and just mention your cohort and officially invite the leaders, because for you it's more of inviting the leaders, and then I'll move on to Bernard Mwangi. So Rebecca, you can go first. Okay.
Good evening, leaders. Oh.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Rebecca. I was in cohort 1, and it's my pleasure to welcome each one of us. This is a course that I took, and it has transformed me, and I believe when you as you're joining, it will be transformative to you, and it will be of great help. I'm located in Nairobi, and the best leadership skill that I emulate is being a good example. Welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So today we are talking of cohort 51. Rebecca was in cohort 1. You can see the journey there. So thank you so much. Mr. Mwangi, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, leaders.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be part of this cohort number 51. And I would wish to take this opportunity to welcome all of you. It's a cohort, it has a mixed grill of professions, and would be glad to learn from each one of you, given the type of work that you do. So it's a pleasure. Let me welcome you most, feel at home. GLN is a home for transformative leadership, and therefore we'll walk this journey together. I was in cohort number 7, and as Mr. President has said, it's a journey because I have seen there are about 44 cohorts growing, including you. So I'm currently attached to the GLN Secretariat. Some of you have visited the offices down there at Eastern Bypass, and I would wish to welcome all of you that create time and come and visit us in the office, and then we'll share more. Currently, I'm handling logistics and other duties within the Secretariat, including the posting of the materials that you are having. And we are here to keep you company, working together with you in this journey. For the next 12 weeks also, I will be part of your learning, and we are also learning from you. As Mr. President has put it, we keep joining the cohort so that we are also able to learn new knowledge from those who are joining. Like Mr. Kizito, or rather Kisito, he's in the airport doing that kind of thing, and I believe one day we'll have the opportunity to share the meals that he's taking there during our graduations. So thank you very much. Most welcome. We'll keep you company. Anytime you feel you need something to inquire, we are ready for you. We have been sharing our numbers, and we'll continue to share our numbers in the cohort and make use of this cohort, number 51, so that we continue networking and growing together. Otherwise, thank you. Servant leadership is critical. And having been in the public service, I exited in the public service. I served for 4 decades. And I felt that there is need to continue serving the same public in another area of leadership. And that's why I selected GLN, and I'm giving my other part of life to GLN, that we are able to grow you together. Thank you. Feel most welcome. Thank you, President.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi. We'll be interacting with Mr. Mwangi, especially during the graduations and also other activities that we'll be having together. Thank you so much, leaders. I see Tony, you're saying you are HR practitioner, and the leadership quality that you value is ability to impact others. Okay. Great. So at least we know who is in the house, and this will provide us with an opportunity just to be able to connect with one another. Already, I can see Janet. You've talked about Nelly as someone that you may want to connect with. And all of us, I'm sure, there's someone that we have seen that may want even to have a deeper conversation on what they are doing. So that's part of what will be unlocking in this journey together. Right. So allow me to move on, and we get into our first session for tonight. We always start this class at the peak. We maintain the momentum to the very end. So today we're going just to set the foundation. We'll not get into very deep conversation, and that's why we're going to handle lesson 1 and 2. They are more foundational modules that will prepare us for what will be coming later on. So just to appreciate the 5 C's, the 6 I's, but they are also very important in terms of qualities that we have mentioned in our introduction. Yeah, so we normally adopt a study method we call LACT. Yeah, this is what will guide us in terms of our book review, and also as you go through the manual, you can use this study method. So where you put a letter L, it means maybe this is something that you are learning for the first time. It's new information, new knowledge, and maybe you may want even to get back later on and just be able to get deeper. So if you come through such an area, such a concept, just put a letter L, either in the book review or in the manual or even in your own notes as a reminder. Then A is what I need to apply. Yeah, so in every session that we go through, it's important to pick an area of application, because that's the only way this program will have an impact to us as leaders. So in all that we cover, at least put an A somewhere as an area of application. Then change. Maybe you have learned something and you feel like, wow, I need to change. I need to make adjustments. I've been leading in this way, but today my eyes have been opened in another way, and I need to make certain changes. Yeah, so let us see. We remind you maybe an area of change. Then T is teach. Maybe you have come through a concept. Maybe you're doing a book review, and there's a portion that you have identified in the book review that you need to teach your team. So just put there letter T, and that means that you have committed to teach others. And remember that the proof of knowledge is in the application. It's normally said the biggest gap is the gap between what we know and what we apply. The knowledge, the gap between knowledge or information that we have and how much that we are applying that. So we'll want to really be very intentional about application, be very intentional about applying this LACT method so that we can ensure that we are structured in our learning. I'll start this module by sharing this story of JFK. This was the 35th president of US, yeah, John F. Kennedy, and the janitor, a cleaner at NASA headquarters. Some of us, we have heard this, and maybe some of us, we could be hearing this for the first time. And this is a very important scenario in terms of understanding the purpose or the big picture of what we do and why it is important to continue communicating, especially as leaders, again and again and again about the big picture of the organization. So what happened is that the president was visiting NASA headquarters, and while he was walking around, he came across this janitor who was cleaning, just doing his mopping work, mopping the floor. And then the president posed a question to the janitor. What are you doing at NASA? What are you doing at NASA? President is walking around, comes across this janitor mopping the floor, and then he poses this question to the janitor. And I want to invite us just to reflect on this together. And maybe for those who you're hearing this story for the first time, I may want to pick your mind. What do you think was the response from this janitor? Those who have heard the story again, maybe you can hold on a little bit. But if this is the first time you are getting to hear this story, what do you think the janitor said to the president? We could share on the chat, we could unmute, all the channels are open. What do you think was the response from this janitor to the president? Yeah, the president is at NASA headquarters, taking a walk around, comes across this janitor doing his work, and he poses this question: what are you doing at NASA? We can take a wild guess, just a wild guess. What do you think the janitor said? Yeah. Okay, so I can, Esther, you're saying, I think he simply said he's a janitor. Very true. He's a janitor. And again, the president even has found him at the work, doing his work. So that's very true, Esther. I can sample two more. What do you think the janitor said? What was the response of the janitor? Two more, then I can proceed. Yeah, what do you think the janitor said? Maybe maybe a number of us, I know a number of us have attended these sessions, and maybe you have come through this again and again. That could also be why most of us may not be sharing. But maybe for those who are hearing this for the first time, maybe I can have one more. What do you think the janitor said, just to give Esther company in her answer? Okay. Yeah, Janet, you're saying he said he was working towards sending someone to the moon. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. This is a very, very important case. I've used this in many forums, and it always unlocks a lot in terms of understanding the vision and why it needs to be communicated again and again and again. Because the picture our teams have when they are working is very important. If I have the picture of putting a man on the moon, that speaks so much about my perception. It speaks so much about my motivation. It speaks so much about the goal, why I am in that organization. So for us leaders, this is one of the major and the critical role that we play as leaders, to ensure that the accountant, the HR, the administrator, and everybody, the janitor, that everybody in the organization should be able to have a common point of focus. And the common point of focus of an organization is the vision and the purpose of that organization. And we can say for NASA, it was clear, and everybody knew that our bigger goal, yes, I could be mopping, but the picture in my mind when I'm mopping is helping put a man on the moon. So I'll invite us to take this as one of the take homes, probably, that you could consider. And these are some of the areas that we were saying earlier. And I remember Daniel asked a question on what we can share with our teams. Maybe this can be one of the scenarios that you can share with your team and just have a conversation. And maybe even just do a random check in terms of how well do my people understand the bigger vision of the organization. So we'll explore quite a number of definitions of leadership later on, but to set the context, we look at one of the GLNs thinking about leadership. And we normally say that leadership is influence, very important. through inspiration, by manifesting authentic self to maximize your potential and serve your purpose as you help others tap into their full potential to positively impact humanity. We'll unpack this together. We'll unpack this in the course of this journey. We'll be able to spend more time just to unpack this definition as we continue. The other concept that we'll be referring to in the course of our journey together is leadership circle of influence. Yeah. And the essence of leadership circle of influence is that leadership starts at the center of this circle. And at the center of the circle, what do we see? We see personal. You see personal. So that's where the journey starts. And this is why Nelson Mandela said, until I changed myself, I could not change others. Because of this center, circle of influence, at the center, this is where the real work starts. And Mother Teresa said, if each of us would only sweep our own doorstep, the whole world will be clean. Again, getting to personal. Personal. And personal here can even be expanded. It can be at an individual level. It can be that space where you are leading. Yeah. So this is the backbone of all other domains of leadership. So personal leadership is the core and is a foundation for all other forms of leadership. Then we have pyramid of influence, again, almost relating to the circle of influence, a concept that, again, is important to appreciate as leaders, that influence starts at the base of the pyramid. And what do we have at the base of the pyramid? Self-influence or personal influence. A number of us here have talked about leading by example. And that is the essence of self-influence, is the essence of personal influence. We normally say a leader becomes a leader because you have attracted people to follow you. Sometimes there are people who became leaders, not that they were out to become leaders, but they lived effectively. They influenced themselves positively until they became people of value. And then you see people following you and you're wondering, where are you going? And they tell you, we are following you because you have impacted us. You have influenced us. And that is how some people become leaders. So self-influence, and then moves on to corporate influence, national influence, and then global influence. So great leaders start by leading themselves, and that starts from the base of the pyramid. The base of the pyramid, again, when you're talking about self-influence or self-leadership, we're talking about leading self. And this comes with clarity of a vision, clarity of values and principles, which helps us to be able to lead others, leading others through positive influence. And then we proceed to lead leaders, where we talk about empowering leaders. Then we move on to leading movements. This is where we have even global movements. We have national movements. We have movements that are able to transform people's lives. And we have a few examples that are shared on the screen there. Yeah. One of the persons that we can relate with there is someone like Nelson Mandela. He was a leader of a movement. Yeah, we have someone like Mother Teresa. She was a leader of movement. Someone like Martin Luther King Jr., a leader of movement. We have many others that are not mentioned, even we are not in this screen, but they are out there. People that we can say they led movement. Some are not known in the global space, but they led movement at certain spheres. So the pyramid of influence, the climax is leading movement. This is where someone leads for a cause. This is where even the level of sacrifice is quite high, because some of the leaders here, they even sacrificed their own lives because the theme, the drive, the passion, the mission became greater than the leader. Yeah. So as we transition through these phases, leading self, leading others, leading leaders, and then all the way to leading movements, our level of impact also continues to to increase. Then we have the 5C strategies for a global leader, what we also refer to as the 5C global leader. As a global leader, we need to focus on these 5 areas of growth. 1, competency, where we continue to grow in terms of leadership skills, leadership knowledge, exposure and experience, but also within also our technical areas. So we are intentional about our growth as leaders, and that's why we're talking about competency. Then we also need to focus on clarity. And clarity here has 2 things. Clarity of a vision, where am I leading my people to? Clarity of communication. Am I clearly understood about my vision? So clarity is about vision. Clarity is also about communication. Then we have character. And character, you are saying the integrity of the leader, the essence of a leader. This is what the leader represents, whether the leader speaks or not. That is a message that is already conveyed through the lifestyle of that leader. Then conviction. This is what grounds us. This is what gives us the resilience to keep going, because we are convicted that what we are doing is right. I am here for a purpose and I need to fulfill my purpose. A very deep conviction. And this is when a leader experiences challenges, but we are still pushing on. Why? Because there is a very deep conviction that I cannot be here. I am here because there is clarity of purpose. There is something I need to fulfill. And then compassion. Compassion. A leader who leads by care, a leader who also demonstrates love, and a leader who also is passionate, but also compassionate. And those 2 are very important. During COVID period, we were really talking about this so much because we were feeling this is the time that we need to be more compassionate. Yes, I can be very passionate about that project, but maybe I need to scale down and think about the welfare of the people. Maybe people need to survive now. So I can pause certain projects and allow some resources to go towards showing compassion to the teams or to my members. So compassion, leading by passion, but also leading by care and leading by love. So these are the 5 C's that are important, and we'll be unpacking this bit by bit as we continue. That as a global leader, I focus on competency, I focus on clarity, I focus on character, conviction, and also compassion. In the GLN context, we also have the 5 G's in the GLN context. And the first G is generational thinking, then global focus, then growth oriented, and then genuine. So there is a linkage between the C's and the G's, just to again align our thinking in terms of the GLN focus, majorly on the generational thinking and also the global focus perspectives. Then we have the 6 I's. Yeah, remember I mentioned by the time we are done today, you at least will have a discussion about the 5 C's that we can take home and just be able to continue unpacking as we continue. Then we'll also appreciate the 6 I's and the 1 T of leadership that is anchored on the 6 core principles that will be discussed later on in this masterclass. So what are these 6 I's? The 6 I's are important because we can say they are attributes. They are areas that a leader needs to focus on. We can also talk about them as what forms the identity of a leader. And what are these 6 I's? 3 of them are already mentioned there. 1, influence. Yeah, influence, again, we'll unpack that. Inspiration as a leader. Am I able to inspire? Is my life an inspiration to others? And then intelligence. So there are 3 other I's that are not listed here. It's always good to jog our minds. So I'll just open up and invite you leaders of these very important attributes or the identity or areas that a leader needs to focus on. We have said, yes, I need to be intentional about my influence, my level of inspiration, my level of intelligence. What else can we add here to make this 6 eyes? Just think through. Just think through of any other important aspect of a leader that we can add into this. So in other words, I'm inviting you to just take a guess on the other 3 eyes that are important when it comes to leadership. Okay. Impact, that's true. Impact. Information, that's a very interesting one as well. It's not in our list, but I think we need to we link this with intelligence. Allow us to link information with intelligence for now, but I like that. Yeah, impact is among the eyes that we have. Okay, can I take one more? To complete the 6. So we have influence, we have inspiration, we have intelligence, we have impact. Yes, Esther. Esther, you are right. We have integrity. Yeah, we have integrity. And then we have, actually, we have only one remaining because we only have one remaining. Inclusion, I like that. Janet, inclusion. Yeah, that's part of what the vision does. I like that. It's not in our list, but I like that. Maybe I can take one more. This is also how we learn on some new aspects that are important for us to consider. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so we have, let me see the last one here. Innovation. Innovation keeps coming up. And we adopted innovation. Thank you, Tony, because innovation kept on. Every time we ask this question, innovation has always to come up. And we felt we need to, yes, we are talking about 6 eyes, but we can expand this. So this is what we have. We have impact, we have integrity, and then we have integration. Yeah. And integration is where a leader now needs to walk around and just be able to connect with the people. Come out of the head office and just walk around and be able to relate with what is happening in the welfare of the people that we are leading. Then initiative, thank you. Thank you so much, Tony. So from the eyes, we are saying leadership is influence, but again, how do we connect this influence? Influence has to be through inspiration. It has to be through integrity. It has to be through integration. It has also to be through intelligence. Yeah, and intelligence here is knowledge, is learning, is capacity of a leader to keep learning the information that Margaret has mentioned to achieve high impact and transformation. So the T is transformation. So again, very important, and this is what we'll be unpacking in the course of our discussion. Now, in this masterclass, the word influence, we use it as an acronym. So each letter means something relating to leadership. So letter I is inspirational. Yeah, so leaders inspire others through passion. Then we have N is nurture, where we grow ourselves and grow others. F is focus. We need to focus on a vision, focus on fruitfulness, and ensure that our energy, our resources are focused for maximum impact and productivity. Then L is learning and listening, saying leaders are learners, continuous improvement, and they're also active, deep listeners. Then U is understanding. Leaders care, and leaders need to balance a soft heart of care and a hard heart of courage. Okay. Then E is emotional intelligence. We are leading again in a dynamic world. People are going through a lot, and therefore the level of emotional intelligence of a leader is critical. Yeah, so leaders are sensitive to their instincts and to people's needs, feelings, and their environment. Then N is navigate. As leaders, we are navigating our teams. And how do we do this? We steer the team towards a shared vision. Then we have C, which is communicate. Yeah, so leaders effectively communicate shared vision, direction, as well as values. Then the last one is exemplary. Leaders model the way. They know the way, go the way, but they also show the way. They demonstrate leadership. They understand that leadership is a lifestyle. That's why we are talking about leading by example. So this is a whole discussion. The word influence is a whole maybe 2-hour conversation where we can unpack this, but just to appreciate and now reflect on this maybe later on, just to be able to appreciate the word influence and what it means in the context of GLN masterclass. Okay, so with that, what we have covered will be important in addressing the 6 core principles that will be discussed later on, and these are the areas that we shall discuss. Majorly at level 3, we'll talk about the power vision in leadership. We're saying the capacity to have foresight, the power of purpose in leadership, leading with a sense of meaning, and then power of character in leadership. We're saying integrity is the foundation for leadership. The power of mentorship and succession. I think Margaret mentioned about this. We need to talk about business continuity. We need to talk about mentorship. We need to talk about succession. Yeah, leaders secure the future through mentorship and succession. Then power of personal development in leadership. Leaders are perpetual learners. And then we'll talk about the power of effective communication in leadership. This is part of one of the C's, which is clarity. Leaders are great connectors, and we connect people to the vision through clarity of how we communicate and articulate the vision. So there will be a leadership challenge for this module, and basically we will evaluate ourselves based on the 6 I's. So we'll share the link, and that link will guide you. Just reflect. How is my influence? Maybe it can be at workplace, it can be within whatever space that you are leading. Just take one of the space or a number of the spaces and try to have a deep reflection in terms of these 6 I's, and rate yourself, and then pick some of the areas that you feel you need to improve. So we'll share this through the link, and then we'll be able to do this, and then next week we'll be able to have a reflection on this. Okay, so that's just a brief discussion on lesson 1. As I indicated, lesson 1 and 2 are just setting the stage for deeper conversations. So I just want to maybe pause here for a minute. If there is a comment, a question, and thank you so much for sharing on the chat even as we continue. Yeah, in case there's someone who has a comment, a question before I transition to the last part of our discussion for tonight. Okay, so I think we can continue sharing on the chat. I'll also keep on engaging you as we continue. So let's talk briefly about the leadership gap. Is there a leadership gap that we can identify out there, or even in ourselves? It can be out there, but it can also be something that we feel we need to work on as leaders. And the leadership gap has many contexts. Can be we can look at it from the skills perspective. We can look at it from certain attributes that are important, that needs to, we feel we need to do more on those particular areas. What are some of the possible leadership gaps that we can identify, leaders? What are some of the possible leadership gaps that we can identify as leaders? Mm-hmm. Yes, Daniel. Daniel, you can mention as we continue to share on the chat.
From what discussed so far, maybe one of the gaps that I can identify is a leader might lack, among the 5 C's, might lack the conviction when it comes to leading his people. So I believe that can be a challenge. And then maybe my request, kindly, if you can go through the 5 G's. I was not able to capture all of them. Maybe you'll appreciate.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I think that's so deep. Yeah, that's quite deep. Conviction. Yeah, that's a very deep one, and thank you for mentioning that. Okay, so here they are. Yeah, so conviction among the 5 C's, that is what Daniel, you have picked. So let me look at the chart. Tony, you are saying mentorship. Again, I think this is really a very big, we have a lot of work to do on mentorship. Yeah, nowadays that we are talking about even intergenerational workforce, so structured mentorship or both formal or even informal mentorship are critical. So that's one of the gaps that, Tony, you have mentioned. Thank you so much. Then Nelly, you're talking about self-awareness. Very true. Yeah, there are various studies out there talking about the perception, even those who feel they are self-aware, but the statistics are showing very few people are actually self-aware. Yeah, so self-awareness is one of the gaps, and we'll have at least a brief discussion on this. It may not be very detailed, but it will trigger something that we can build on. Geoffrey is saying lack of morals. Yeah, so that is the other C that we mentioned, character. Okay. Bernard, you're saying insufficient leadership skills. Yeah, we have leaders leading, but again, very little leadership being demonstrated. And part of that is skills gaps. The skills gaps, there are some that may be having the skills, but maybe they are lacking on other things that we have talked about, conviction among others. Then lack of emotional intelligence. Yeah, very deep, very deep. Yeah, generational impact. That's another gap. Wow. Very, very important gap there. Okay. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we'll align your thoughts with other thoughts, other people that have discussed this. So I'll just do maybe an overview of what you have mentioned and just add a few thoughts onto that. Then we'll call it a night. So the leadership gap. And allow me to pick this from what happened in South Korea in the year 2014. There is a ship that sank in the year 2014 in Korea. And the ship had 476 passengers. Sadly, 304 died in this disaster. And 250 were students. Yeah. So what happened is that when the ship started sinking, the captain instructed the passengers to stay put, but he abandoned the ship together with the crew. They were the first people to be rescued, and they left the passengers inside. Yeah. However, some of the passengers disobeyed the announcement, and they jumped into the water. Sadly, most of the students obeyed, but some who disobeyed actually were the ones that were rescued. A very, very sad story. And as we talk about leadership gap, I'm sure this story can point to a number of gaps that we can identify. I just want us to reflect on this, even as we walk through this few areas that we want to tackle. Just think about this case and what are the possible gaps that we can identify from this. And then you can just share this on the chat even as we continue. So there is an author known as James Strock, and he wrote, and he said that everyone can lead because everyone can serve. If you can serve someone, then you have an opportunity to lead. Yeah, so leadership is a democratized role. That's why we are starting from ourselves, then it transitions to others. However, not every leader in position of leadership is leading. A very sad affair. And a study was done by World Economic Forum. And what they identified is that 86% of those who are interviewed, they confirmed or agreed there is a leadership crisis. For them, it was not even a gap. It was a leadership crisis across the different spaces that we are leading. Look at it from the African context, what has been said again and again. Yeah, Africa remains a net importer of food, although it has 60% of the world's uncultivated arable land. Again, this speaks of a gap. The resources are there, and it is estimated that all the arable land in Africa, if they were to be cultivated in the right way, then Africa would be able to feed over 60% of the world population by the year 2050. Let's come closer to the Kenyan context. Maybe some of us can relate with these companies here, companies that were doing well, but now they are no longer there. And part of what contributed to the downfall of this company, leadership, is one of the area that we can relate with. Yeah. So we are saying, indeed, there is a leadership gap. And the Center for Creative Leadership, they did a survey and they came up with the 4 most important future skills that are among the weakest competences for today's leaders. So what are they? Number 1, leaders who are able to inspire commitment, inspirational leaders. That's one of the gap. Leading employees, and here they're talking about even mentorship. Leaders that are able to lead by example and mentor others. Then strategic planning, leaders that can project us to long-term thinking. That's also another gap that was identified. Then change management, leaders that are able to help us to manage and navigate change. That's again a gap that was identified. Another study was done by NBO Group, and they identified areas that leaders felt needs to be addressed. So the question was, what are the leadership needs in your organization? And you can see number 1, leaders who inspire trust. And maybe this can be connected with what Daniel talked about, conviction. The second, leaders who communicate effectively. Again, that's another gap. And remember, that's among the first, the C relating to clarity. Then the others follow as listed there. There's another study that was done by American Productivity and Quality Center. They came up with top leadership skills deficiencies. Again, what are they? Strategic planning, aligning to the earlier one. Change management, aligning to the earlier one. But we have knowledge sharing. And that also speaks of a bit of communication, including listening. And emotional intelligence, we'll talk a little bit about emotional intelligence later on. And I remember, Esther, you have mentioned that in the chat. Yeah, so what is causing this? We are saying organizations are under-investing in leadership. Only 8% of participants reported having gone through some form of leadership out of those that were interviewed. So under-investment in leadership was one of the challenges that was identified. And we have a leadership skills list that informed us in addition to the gaps, because even as we were coming up with this program, we were thinking about the gaps, we were thinking about key leadership skills that are important, and this leadership skills list informed us. And that's why we have a module on communication. Inspiration is part of our conversation, as well as positivity, honesty, and integrity. That's why we have a module on character. Problem solving, this will be handled through learning loops. Expertise, creativity, flexibility. Delegation will handle this through mentorship and succession, together with mentoring. So we tried to align our leadership programs into these leadership skills. The survey, the World Economic Forum or survey, came up with 5 steps to help organization or individual to bridge the leadership gap. And this will be a systematic approach. The weekly evaluation that we're going to do, it will be helping us to achieve this. So to address the gap, number 1, we need to perform a leadership needs assessment. So that those 6 I's is part of the assessment, is part of picking the gaps, it's part of coming up with an action plan to be able to address the gaps. Then create a leadership strategy. How do I address these gaps? Then clearly break the strategy into actionable areas. Develop clear, specific goals and strategies for individual leadership development. Then create a system, come up with a program in terms of how to implement that, and then evaluate. So we'll be focusing on this in the course of our journey together. So perform a leadership needs assessment, then come up with a strategy, make it very clear, create a system to implement that, and then undertake an evaluation. Finally, leaders, we are saying as stewards of this present age, we must face the challenge of developing, training, releasing, and reproducing a generation of leaders who can secure this generation and next generations. So we'll invite you to reflect on 3 questions from the survey that we have gone through. And this will again be provided in the link. So you will go through the reflection, take time to think through, then just submit your reflection, and that will inform us as part of our discussion next week. Okay, and with that, we come to the end of our discussion for tonight. I know today it's normally a bit intense because we have to do an overview of the introduction, and then we have to do the 2 modules. But now moving forward, the next modules will be a little bit lighter and also provide more time for engagement. So we'll post here for tonight. Maybe I'll just invite maybe 2 or 3 of us just to share what are we taking home from this discussion. Maybe that one thing that you are saying, of all that we have learned, this is what I'm walking home with. Could I invite us to share that as we wind up? Yeah, maybe the one important thing. That's also how we blend our learning. We can learn from your one important thing. What is that one important thing that you are saying, wow, maybe this was my wow moment and I'm walking home with this? Yeah, so let me see. Can you please elaborate on book writing? Okay, this one allow me to link up with you, Pastor Bernard. Thank you. Okay, Nelly, you're saying leave no man behind in your team. Wow, leave no man behind in your team. Thank you, Nelly. What is that one thing that out of all that we have discussed, saying this one, this is what I'm walking home with, and maybe it can be part of what you may want to dig deeper going forward. So let me pick that, then we make a prayer, and then we call it a night. Yeah, Esther, developing clarity and specific goals is essential. Daniel, you are saying the acronym influence. Yeah, that's a whole package by itself. Thank you. Bernard, you're saying the proof of knowledge is in application. That's how we bridge this gap. There's a big gap on what we know and what is implemented. And then Tony, you're saying leaders of today are called to be generational leaders. Yeah, so we need to think generational. In all decisions that we are making, we need to think generational. Products and services. Geoffrey, you're saying inviting others for change. Yeah, that makes it easier to drive change as we share gradually. gradually, as we share what we are learning with other leaders, it makes it easier for us to drive a change. Okay. Okay, we can see if there's any other. Yeah, so thank you so much, leaders. Thank you so much. Margaret, you are saying lacked. Wow, lacked was your wow moment. That's what you are walking home with. Yeah, what am I learning? What do I need to apply? What do I need to change? And what do I need to teach? Thank you, Margaret. So thank you so much, leaders. I can see you've taken 5 more minutes. Just want to pause here for tonight. Again, allow me to say a big thank you to all of us. Thank you that you have given us this opportunity, and we value this opportunity. We value our time, we value our coming together, and we look forward to a very enriching journey together. So let's say a prayer. God, we are grateful. You've accorded us such a wonderful opportunity as leaders. We've learned quite a lot tonight, and we pray that even as we move forward, that we'll be able to apply. We'll be able to use this knowledge to be better leaders to ourselves and to be better leaders to the people that you have entrusted us. Give us a blessed night, and this is our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, leaders.
Amen.
Let's continue to engage on the chat. Thank you so much. God bless you and have a blessed night, leaders.
Amen. Good night, leaders. Blessed week ahead.